On the track, car number 76, Jack Smith. Navy veteran, served a couple of years. In this number 76 Tremwell. And this car was pretty fast in practice, Danny. He was really good in qualifying trim. The only couple of times he went out there and on a qualifying run, he was pretty good. And what about in his race runs? He wasn't so quick, but he definitely said he's trying to qualify well, and he's doing so right now. He's tracking 5th right now. 5th for Jack Smith. That's faster than what he practiced. He practiced in first practice he was 7th. In second practice he was 8th. So he's definitely picked it up a little bit here. But there's still a couple of cars towards the back of the line that are going to be pretty fast. So we're gonna see. Oh, he drops down in speed a little bit. Looks like it's going to be 6th. 6th or 7th. And Smith across the line. 6th at a 45.84. That's still quite a ways off of Hawk Slider on the pole. On track, Nicki Brillon in car number 65, the Stoghawk Operations Tremwell. This is one of the cars, Dan, that I think is going to solidly qualify. I mean, we really haven't seen this car that far down the speed charts. But this car, ever since second practice, has not been higher than 20th. Actually, in second practice, Brillon was 34th. And depending on who you want to believe, this team was doing something that they shouldn't have been doing because they failed tech inspection before second practice. Apparently, they were doing the same thing to the engine that the Michelin Sons and the McAllister cars were doing, which means it was perfectly within the rules because all the controversy surrounding what the Michelin Sons cars are doing. The officials have said that they couldn't find anything illegal with those cars. Well, which begs the question why they'd bust Nicki Brillon's team for doing it if they didn't bust some of the other teams for doing it. And it looks like Brillon is going to time in around 30th. Yeah, that's a ways off the pole in 30th place, but that is going to solidly put her in the field, I think. Right here's a guy that's got to pick it up if he's going to qualify for this race. Wes Jones in car number 46. And yeah, you're right, Alan. This is not a good lap for Jones. And if we've seen, if any indication is such, if he takes a second lap, it's not going to be fast. Yeah, he's already the slowest car out there. This is not a good lap for Jones. He's got to pick up some time. Well, Jones is the only driver trying to qualify for both the Texas 500 and the Arlo race at the Dwyer Speed Park all the way up in Minnesota. Of course, you'll be able to see coverage of the pre-qualifying races just after this pole qualifying show, and it doesn't look likely Jones is going to qualify for both because this is not a good lap. This is not a good lap. Absolutely not, Dan. We wish him the best, but it just doesn't look like it's going to be good enough. Nope. 58.587. That's the slowest by quite a bit. So Wes Jones' hopes of qualifying for the Texas 500 aren't looking so good, but anything can happen. There's a couple of guys coming up that are slower. He's got to beat 6 cars. Josh Rowe in car number 93 is on the racetrack in the American Family Association car. Got a bit of a close-up there of the 93. This is one of those guys that Wes Jones was faster than in all of the practice sessions. In fact, Josh Rowe has been one of the slowest cars out here. And it's certainly showing because this doesn't look like it's going to be... Oh, he's sliding down slowly. He started off a lot better than what he's practiced, but it looks like he's tracking... This could be... Oh, it's a slippery slope here. Looks like Allen, he is getting slower and slower. He's not able to make up time on that back straightaway, because that's where we've seen a lot of cars has really been able, just really lost it because they just don't have the power that some of these front-running cars do. And it's getting to the point, Dan, where you got some guys out there that are just way off the pace, and this guy's one of them. Rowe's been in a couple of practice accidents, and see, he's second slowest right now. This car's not running real good, and he's got to do a lot of work to fix it. Coming to the stripe, Josh Rowe, 58.11. That, I'm going to have to say that's probably not going to make it. He's going for another lap, though. We haven't seen anyone take a second lap and improve, but looks like Rowe's not going to do it either. Because the tracker right there won't track any slower than what he's, position-wise, it won't track below what he already ran. So it'll only go as low as 40 for Josh Rowe in this 93 car. Got some work to do, I think. Well, I don't know. It looked like he might pick up just a little bit there, and looks like he might just pick up a little bit, Dan, and we haven't seen anyone do that today. Josh Rowe in car 93 is looks like he might be faster than Bud Stoner this lap. Well, you might want to watch what you say there, Dan. Looks like Josh Rowe just proved you wrong. He does pick it up a little bit. In fact, he's faster than Bud Stoner by just a little bit. Wow. So, it looks like Josh Rowe picked it up on lap 2. And yeah, that is faster than what Bud Stoner ran. So, it looks like Rowe isn't... Well, Dan, here comes the guy that's going to win the pole. You don't know that yet. Cyrus Labbe's on the 74 car, the Mitchell & Sons Tremwell. He's been over a second faster than about everybody in first practice, but in second practice, his teammate Hawk Slider and Marius Rutcher both closed the gap to him to within half a second. But this is an oval track, so that's a huge, huge gap. As we see the Cyrus Labbe being working this car around the track, and you can look there, Alan. P1 the whole way around. Well, Rutcher's car sounded like it was down on power, but he's able to hold it flat the whole way around. Hawk Slider is not able to do that. Coming to the stripe. Yep, pole by quite a bit. It's over 0.7 of a second. Cyrus Labbe is on the pole, but he doesn't break into the 35-second bracket, which, if you see what the slowest cars in the field are running, could make this a very interesting race early on. It could be a very dangerous race, too, with guys that slow. Billy Richie on the racetrack in car number 19. He was the slowest car of 49 in first practice, but in second practice he picked it up and was running 43rd. So we're going to have to see if Richie is going to be fast enough to make this field. After Billy Richie, knockout qualifying begins. Well, right now, Dan, he's sliding down the charts a little bit, and I'd have to say that Richie's just got to pick it up a little bit because he needs that extra speed. This car's been sputtering a little bit in the back straightaway during his qualifying runs in practice. But I have to see, though. In his race runs, though, he wasn't that bad. Because throughout most of practice, he was running in the low 30s area. Richie, tracking 39, sounded like he sputtered coming down the back straightaway, and that's where he dropped a little bit. And I wonder if he lifted off the throttle or something. Because... yeah, he's paying for it right now, Alan. Well, he might just barely make it. At least he'll make it off the bubble. Of course, after Billy Richie, knockout qualifying starts, 39th. That's pretty borderline, but that puts Wes Jones on the bubble. And Wallin takes the green for his first lap of 2. Of course, Wallin from New Jersey, going to try to bump his way into the field. He's got to beat what Wes Jones ran. So he's got to beat the 46 car, and that might not be that tall of an order because Wallin was not that bad in practice. Well, Dan, Scott Wallin was running about 34th, 35th in first practice, and in the second practice, he wasn't very far away from that. So I think he's going to be fast enough to bump. Oh. Something's gone wrong here, Dan, because this car does not sound like it's healthy. Well, most of the cars here don't. But point being, Scott Wallin in this 40 car, something happened on the back straightaway and he is losing power, it sounds like, and this lap is not going to be good enough to make the Texas 500. Coming off the final corner, yeah, this is way slower than what Wes Jones ran. This is nowhere near qualifying speed. Unfortunately for Scott Wallin, it looks like his hopes have been dashed. 59.6 is not fast enough to push Wes Jones off the bubble, and it looks like Scott Wallin is going to be the first car to fail to qualify for this race. However, what that does do is it locks Bobby Miller III into the field. Lonnie Bennam in the number 3 Border Patrol car as he goes on track for his qualifying effort. And Bennam was not very fast in practice, was he, Alan? No, he wasn't, Dan, but Lonnie Bennam did not do a mock qualifying run like some of these guys did. Bennam just went out there and did race runs only. He was feeling very confident that he would qualify for this race, and doesn't look like it right now. Lonnie Bennam, of course, former veteran, and or a veteran rather, can't say former veteran really, and he's dropping down the timesheets. This is not looking good for Bennam. He lost a lot of speed during the back straightaway and coming into turn 3. This car slid a little bit, Dan. I think this is going to be very close. Wes Jones is sweating beads right now. And it looks like he might just barely make it. No. No, he doesn't. Lonnie Bennam is out of the field. He's going for another lap. And we're going to see this is not quick at all. This is like most people's second laps. Just not fast because these Goodyear tires just have very little grip. And well, looks like Bennam, yeah, this second lap's not going to be any better. Well, he probably should get off the racetrack, Dan, and let other people have track time right now, because Lonnie Bennam's not going to qualify with this speed right here in this 3 car. Lonnie Bennam, the Border Patrol Select, looks like he'll be the second car to fail to qualify. This will lock Billy Richie into the race, I believe. And will lock Billy Richie into the field in that 19 car that we thought was pretty borderline. Looks like Richie's going to be able to start this race, and Lonnie Bennam will not. Bobby Miller Jr. has hit the track in car number 24. In his Tremwell, of course, his father is already qualified, and his son, Bobby Miller III, will also start the race. Miller Jr. is already qualified, car number 25. Of course, the 18-year-old Bobby Miller III is in, and now the 37-year-old former Marine, Bobby Miller Jr., is looking like he's got a good lap coming. Well, he does, Dan, and this car is hooked up really good in the corners, and he's really able to harness his power of this car in the straightaways. He's about 10 seconds off the pace of the pole right now, but keep in mind, though, the guy's on the pole way ahead of everyone else. They're a couple seconds up, but Bobby Miller looks like this is going to be a decent lap. This is definitely going to be in the race. Bobby Miller, 9th for Bobby Miller Jr. Wes Jones has been bumped from the field. Bud Stoner is now on the bubble. 22-year-old Angus Black takes the green flag to begin his qualifying run in this car number 54, the Carver City Steakhouse Tremwell for What's Your Beef Motorsports. I like that team name. I've seen a lot of pretty creative team names in motorsports lately, and this is one of them. And just by on the basis of that, we hope he does well, and we'll have to see about that, though. He hasn't been running that good, and this car is not hooked up real good coming down the back straightaway. 36th, he's tracking 36th. That will lock him into the field. He looks like he's slowing down, though. And looks like something may be going wrong with this 54 car and Angus Black. Well, I don't know, Dan. He's sliding down even more. And he's slowing down. Something's definitely gone wrong here. 43rd, that's going to put himself in the bubble here. This is going to be very close. And yeah, he puts himself in the race, but he puts himself on the bubble. That's the only problem here. And he locks R.J. Bansma into the field, so Angus Black, that's pretty borderline, especially with the next 2 cars, but he's got to hope that holds up. Tyler Willington in car number 89. This car was fairly quick in practice. It's quick enough to qualify solidly, and it's showing on the speed charts right now. Willington in this 89 car, the team said that he was going to play it very tentative during qualifying just to get this car into the race, and looks like that's exactly what's happening here. Well, Dan, we don't know that. They might just be saying that to get other people to try too hard and make mistakes. I've seen people do that in motorsport all the time. I know the great Benny Dwyer did that several times. He said he was going to go real easy because his track's loose, so we're going to have to see what happens here with this. Oh! Didn't mean to interrupt you there, Alan. 89 cars in the wall. Willington hits the wall pretty hard. I'm not sure if a tire went down on that car. I think you just hit the apron, Dan. Or if what you said, he just hit the apron, and he's driving that car away, and it looks like he's okay. He's not going to be able to finish his qualifying lap, and he's definitely out. But the good news is Tyler Willington is okay. Gonna see a replay of this. Yep, he just hooked the apron a little bit. Just got a little too aggressive. You were prophetic there. Just looked like he was just trying to go a little bit, pushing a little bit hard, just trying to go for a quicker lap. But of course, the teams can't really see the speed tracker, so they don't really know where they are in relation to the competition. Into the wall he went. Well, that's the sad part, though. And here's a run a lot of people have been looking forward to. Travis Marshall, the eldest son of 2006 Master Cup champion Steve Marshall on the track. Of course, like his father, he did his time in the National Guard before continuing his racing career. Travis Marshall was pretty quick in practice, Dan. This car is probably going to easily make the race. Of course, you may notice, longtime Master Cup fans notice, the number style and the colors on this car, very familiar. That's what Steve Marshall, his father, is best known for. Maybe not the neon yellow, but National Guard sponsorship on a blue car. Of course, here he comes around turn 4. This is going to easily make the race. And this is going to put Angus Black out of the field, Travis Marshall and Josh Rowe in the field. And Marshall qualifies for the Texas 500.